So I'm on the farm today, and I want to talk to you a little bit about a change that we're making. So from my other video, snatched those hay wagons out from right there, and they're parked over here, and the ones on the hill are parked up there near the barn, the old barn. And there's a spot right there with mashed grass where I went in and out. But I also fetched my Heston 1110 sickle mower conditioner out of this field. I didn't make it too far, as evidenced by this skid mark. Heston's got a flat tire, and I don't know if it was flat before I pulled out. I looked at them; they seem to be in pretty good shape, but one of the things I got to do here this evening is try to get some air in those tires, but I think they might be split. I mean, there's grass stuck in there on the sides, but that's not what this video is for. What I want to do is I want to talk about a change that we're making with our hay farming. I kind of hang out right here with my equipment, and so, you know, for years we have grown Timothy hay, and straight Timothy has been our goal. And, you know, there are no complaints about Timothy hay. I get no complaints about Timothy hay. It's very hard for customers to, you know, give a dig about Timothy. You know, they'll talk about fescue, they'll talk about clover and slobber, you know, slobber with a clover mixed in your hay with their horses. You know, they'll talk about sometimes orchard grass. For whatever reason, some horses are very sensitive to it, and it'll give them diarrhea. But from a hay producer standpoint, while Timothy is very forgiving, it has a long harvest window, relatively speaking. It's also short-lived. And so while the customers generally don't complain about Timothy, the hay growers do. You get 3 or 4 years out of it, at least, you know, down in my area. And, you know, you're replanting or you're you know, if you leave it, then other grasses compete, and it just, here recently on this farm, it's kind of got expensive to grow. And we think we have the cereal rust mite, which throws another wrinkle into everything. So we're making a change. There's my Vermeer TR90 and the old New Holland 156 tedder. That's a tedder rake if you're new to the channel. And I changed my mind. I'm going to walk out here to these hay wagons and hang out a little bit while I talk. But so we're still going to plant Timothy, and but what we're going to do is abandon straight Timothy and all efforts in order to create straight Timothy, except on a field that we start from scratch, and it'll be straight Timothy. And the reason for that is as I mentioned earlier, it's really expensive to grow Timothy, and what we encounter is when we try to pass that expense off on to some of our hay customers, they really don't care whether it's Timothy or mixed grass. They balk at the price, and they'll shop elsewhere. On the other hand, we've had really good luck selling mixed grass hay, and I'm talking clean mixed grass hay, well managed, for the same price that we get out of our Timothy. And it seems to forage test very, very well. And so, you know, I can make straight Timothy, but the problem is I need to bring the price up a little more than my mixed grass, and that's not to make more money. It's to cover the additional expense and time and labor that goes into making the Timothy. And then, you know, of course, you typically don't get a second cut with Timothy, so you lose that. And so if I have 20% of my customers that want straight forage tested Timothy, they'll buy it. But the other 80%, they'll start shopping around for hay elsewhere. So I don't lower my price on hay. Eventually I sell it, but it can be kind of a drag. And so what we have here on this farm in these Virginia mountains, we have small fields and a goodly number of small fields, and everybody does around here. And in the fence rows and along the edges, everywhere in my neighborhood, in the lawns, fescue grows everywhere. And on this farm, we see an abundance of not just fescue, but orchard grass. And right here's some orchard grass that's gone to seed, and right here's some fescue that's gone to seed. When I walk around, I see an abundance of both fescue and orchard grass. We still have Timothy in here, and but the competition from this orchard grass and fescue is pretty intense, and so what happens is the wind blows the seeds in the field. The birds and the animals carry the seed into the field. They have their number twos out here, and the stuff takes hold and grows. And so what we're going to do is we're going to try just a mixed grass hay of orchard grass, fescue. We're going to sow in Timothy. We will not plant fescue. We're going to sow in Timothy just to kind of give it a little more volume, and we may even sow in some teff to do that too. With Timothy, we would wait until we got out into June a lot of times, waiting on that seed head to emerge. And but in doing that, it allowed the orchard grass to come in and the fescue, and we found ourselves basically with mixed grass hay after a few years instead of a straight grass. And so I felt like, from a money standpoint, it would be advantageous to kind of embrace what we got up here and try to, instead of trying to have the center of this field and the other fields as straight Timothy, and then endure the cost of having to replant, kill and replant. And also, I don't really want to turn this farm into a Roundup resistant farm either. I don't know that I would, but it does cross my mind. And I have no issues with Roundup. Some people do, but I don't. In any event, what we're going to do is we're going to try just a well-managed mixed grass hay, and we'll fertilize and lime. We'll use our herbicides. We'll try to keep it nice and clean. But what we're going to do is we're going to try as best we can. You can't count on the weather. We're going to try to get the hay off as quickly as possible in the spring, early spring. We hope to cut hay now around the middle of May. If there's a window at the 1st of May, we'd like to cut. I mean, I'd probably take a cut in the last week of April if it was truly going to be nice and clear, for a solid week and there were favorable temperatures. And what we're doing, we're after second and third and maybe fourth cuttings. So once we cut, not being all Timothy, once we cut this hay, then we feel like we put some fertilizer down, nitrogen primarily, and we get this second cutting growth going. And I don't know how it is where you're at, But around here, second cutting hay is extremely sought after, and you can get some pretty good money out of second cutting hay. And so if we can cut this field a couple of 2 or 3 times, then that's what we're going to do. And I've kind of felt like with Timothy, I had to be pretty gentle with it. And I don't know that if this were 100% Timothy, I don't know that I'd come in here and cut it again. I'd probably leave it till next spring, just because I feel like it's somewhat fragile. But this orchard fescue mix, I kind of think it's tough as nails. And we're just going to try to make hay as early in the spring as we can. And we're going to try to go as late in the fall as we can, right up to killing frost, if that's what it takes, and take hay off these fields. And so that's kind of the big change on the farm that we're making, and going to try it for a couple of years. I've got reservations about it. I'm not just kind of tripping over myself and saying, screw it, it's too much work to put Timothy in. There's a rhyme and a reason, why I'm doing what I'm doing. And, I'm going to ask my customers when they come, if you want straight Timothy, are you willing to pay for it? And if you are, then we'll reconsider. But and then I have my own opinion about it. I want quality hay on this farm. I'm not interested in a bunch of trash. And so if I feel like this isn't going to cut it, then we'll go back to Timothy. I feel Timothy's a right elegant grass. I like it. I really, really like it. But it can be time consuming and expensive to grow and replant. I've alluded to potentially going this route in some of the other videos, and but had I not, this field would have been brown right now, and we had drilled in or broadcast in Timothy and started over. But I look at this and I just think, well, how can I do that? How can I just kill off a field that'll deliver 120 plus bales a year? Sometimes last year, between second and third cutting, this field right here, 200 bales per acre. Now, we fertilized heavy to get that. It's not like a natural thing. We have an opportunity occasionally, if it goes long like it did this year, which was not good. At least it overseeded grass, some bare spots that were coming in. This field is just full of young grass that's come into some of our bare spots. I didn't plant any of it. You know what? I didn't plant any of this field. I planted all of it in Timothy, and what you see here, and there's some Timothy in here, but what you see is what has invaded this field. Legacy seed bed, seeds coming in from the sides and from the animals. And, I think I can do pretty good with this hay and lower my overhead in the process and the amount of time I need to spend out here working on these fields. So maybe a little more wear and tear on the tractors if we go over it. Timothy, you're kind of one and done, but if we're out here 2 or 3 times, hopefully 4 times through the summer, a little more wear and tear on the tractors and the equipment, but if we're going to be in the haymaking business, we want to be in the haymaking business. So that's kind of the video. I appreciate you watching. It's about to get dark on me. I need to pump up the tire on that Heston and see if it'll hold. And we'll talk to you later.